Welcome to episode 97.
Yo.
Oh boy, you turning it on and off. Fathead ass. Mother sucker self. Let's get to it, babe. Alright, Bradley Beal, man. Darn it. Bradley Beal is being investigated for an incident with a fan. The fan states that the police says two fans were in the visitors' tunnel after the game to meet the players. One yelled at Beal, "You made me lose 1,300, you F." Officers say Beal approached the fan with his right hand and swatted the head off of one of their heads. In doing so, Beal made contact with the left side of his head, hitting him, said the incident report to the police officer. Investigators say that they were shown video footage of the incident which shows Beal swatting towards the fan before an argument broke out. So look, is sports betting causing more harm to these players? And are these players allowed to defend themselves without the risk of prosecution?
They should. Because you the dummy that betted on them. Ain't nobody tell you to put that money on them. That betting stuff is, I don't do the gambling thing or whatever, but that's your choice. You chose to bet on that person, and you in your feelings because they lost. That was your dumbness.
And my thought
and if you want to bet, you need to be money that you don't mind throwing away.
I also think that these players that's making the money that Bill is making need to do like John Wall used to do. Every time John Wall used to travel or walk through the arena, he had his security with him. So it's time for you to make that investment. That way, you give the security the autonomy to do his job, and you don't have to be sued for just plucking somebody by accident because you're trying to defend yourself. I don't think in that situation sticks and stones should break your bones, but words should never hurt you. Because I seen Anthony Rendon, he used to play for the Nationals, right? There was a video that surfaced of him getting into it with a fan, and the fan had called him a B. So after the game, as the players were walking into the dugout, Anthony Rendon approached that said fan and said, "I heard you call me a B," grabbed the fan by his shirt and proceeded to swing on the fan as he was walking away. So I really believe that, fans need to have better decorum when coming to the games. And if you're not willing to put your emotions aside when you lose money on these said players, then maybe you shouldn't sports bet. Because
that part. And
I also think there needs to be certain safeguards in place for these players, because fans are losing tons of money because players miss one rebound or they score 5 points less than what the sports parlay said they should score.
So what? If you bet,
I would also say don't go to the game if you bet. Because
that part, but still, if you bet, you need to bet within your means of money that if I lose, I'm still good. Don't bet your rent money. Now your ass outside with a damn sign saying you got 3 kids and no job and nowhere to live. Like, no, stop doing that. These people are human beings. Like, before they had the money and stuff, you knew nothing about them, but they still did play basketball or wherever they played. Now that they're in the limelight, they making all this money, you want to come up. Like, no.
And then that's also now, I like when I have an opinion like this, I want to think the pros and cons of this situation. Now, on the opposite side, Brad has to understand that he needs to be able to channel his emotions and that he could risk losing money by putting his hands on a fan. Because at the end of the day,
sucks.
Yeah, I know it sucks, but
Just
you also got to understand
money,
when you
make. Now you about to get a come up.
I understand when I also understand when I make $251 million, there will be multiple situations that I may be put in that I could be at risk of losing that money, and you got to have a certain level of. And I also think a lot of that frustration could have went into the fact that they lost to one of the worst teams in the NBA at the same time. Moving on, the Commanders got multiple bids of $6 billion for the team.
Who wants to buy them?
Listen, what do you mean? Who wants to buy an NFL team? Babe, what are you talking about?
The Commanders.
Babe, what are you talking about? That is Dan
that's
Snyder.
a team
Now listen to me.
that you should never bet on.
No, that's not even the case.
You salty because that's your team.
We talking about I'm specifically talking about the financial gain of it. Dan Snyder 10, 15 years ago paid $875 million. Okay. The team is now worth $6 billion. Okay. You do the math. We're not thinking about fandom. We're not thinking about what the record is. The team still has 3 Super Bowls, and there's teams in the league that don't have one.
That's fine, but that should have
been
in my community team.
In my lifespan, yeah, they haven't won anything, but they were once the model for the NFL. It's just now this owner has made them the dumpster for the NFL. But the NFL wants this team to be back on top because the team, from what I hear, when Washington Redskins, Commanders, the Washington football team is succeeding, it's more profitable for the team. I mean, for the NFL as a whole. So
the question is, what is so they're losing? Is basically the owner's fault? Is what they're saying?
Yeah.
How?
Because
the owner's not the coach. The owner isn't the player. He's just the owner.
They're basically saying, right, that the decisions that he make behind the scenes has contribute to the losing culture and the dysfunctional culture.
Okay.
Based off of his leadership, whether it is the women sexually and physically being abused or verbally being abused, to inadequate work conditions for the players, from training, from workout, from nutrition, from just contributing to like bringing families together. One ex-player's wife said she had been petitioning to the team for them to add changing stations in the section where the families sit, and she had went to the owner's wife and told her that if this amount of money is too much for you to add this to a few bathrooms, we'll pay for it. We'll pay for it ourselves. And the owner's wife response was, "Y'all about to get a new stadium anyway, so why would we waste the money to do that?" So it was a waste for her to make the families, the players' families comfortable. And a lot of these players' families have children.
But until then, to put a changing station in a suite bathroom would have been nothing. And you could have easily just put a rolling cart with padding so they can just lay the shower. You ain't have to put one attached to the wall.
I even heard about back in the day.
Went on Amazon and got that.
But yeah, that's been some of the issues that have plagued this owner. His inability to be outside of just paying these players, but just boosting the morale of the team.
I hope it all works out for the Washington, whatever their name is going to be.
The Washington Generals.
The Washington team that does not play in Washington.
Oh, man, don't do that, man. They do play in Washington.
Where?
The DMV.
That is not Washington.
They play the only place they don't play in is Washington, but they play in Maryland and Virginia.
That's the crazy part. That part.
That's the crazy part.
They should be the DMV football team.
But you look, hopefully when they destroy what's that, RFK, that we will get the team back.
To be where?
To be at RFK. Yeah. You know they get ready to blow it up.
Waiting forever for that. But they can put out daggone cameras and okay.
Yeah.
What we got going there?
So Antonio Brown joins the Abilene Empire ownership group. Now that's a win right there, man. Let's applaud that, man. Because he's been,
That's Mr. Fashion Over.
Put your shit on. Put your shit on. Mr. Put your shit on.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's good, man. Players are really taking their money and, trying to build a generational wealth for their family. That's good because his music career is outside of Put Your Shit On. I mean, that reigns supreme. Put your shit on.
Okay.
That's Kanye West, man. So That's Kanye West, man. Put your shit on. So now we're gonna go to music, man.
Okay.
So we was talking. I was surfing the web, and I came across a video with Russell Simmons. My man Russell Simmons was I don't know what form of wellness was that.
I need one of those stretches.
Listen, why he couldn't pick a female to do that though?
It doesn't matter. If he's comfortable with getting a stretch, and that's your problem, why I couldn't be a female? Doesn't matter.
It does matter, Sonya. Come on now, Sonya. That man is in a figure 8 with his head in another man's crotch.
Why is that bothering you? It's his head, not yours.
Moving on. you thinking too. You're not thinking like I'm thinking.
Why would I need to think like you thinking? You think he about to swing his head back and put his dick in his mouth?
Moving on. So 2 dead and 5 others in the hospital after a shooting at Prive, a Memphis restaurant owned by Yo Gotti's mom.
Man, that video, dude, the girl had the dude crutches. And he the one that, put him down.
There was a lot going on in that video, man.
All that in one little corner.
But that goes to show that nothing good happens after 2 a.m. I just don't understand why so much was going on in that small space. There was a lot going on in that small space. And what really led to them folks really being that angry?
To a shootout the way that went down.
Man, look. The shootout was like a scene from
a movie.
No, a scene from Call of Duty.
The fact that you can see the bullets,
you can
stream.
See. Man, listen, my man, one of them dudes had like a laser scope on his gun.
Whatever went down, they was prepared for it to go down.
Yeah, definitely
They was prepared for it to go down. That's crazy.
Several members of police vehicles responded to a Prive restaurant where Action News 5 Walter Murphy reported one person was found dead in the parking lot and at least 5 others were shot. I'm surprised only 5 people were shot based on the video we saw.
So I wonder if the one person that was dead was the dude that got shot in front of the car.
Yeah. Because the
other 2 dudes was on the side when the dude gun jammed.
I'm going to tell you this.
So what was the other people?
The moment I saw that I had a Glock 9 and dude had an AK with a scope on it, I'm tossing my gun up in the air and I'm running.
Not you tossing your stuff.
I ain't got no shot. My man, he just set that joint, lined his scope up like a professional and just let it go. And you just walk, people get plucked up out the air. Folks was jumping. He was hitting folks in the leg and they just was flying up in the air, landing on the ground. And you got one dude, he really sitting in the middle of this fire trying to shoot back. Dude, you ain't got no chance. Sir, I'm waving my white flag. Here, you can have it.
Yeah, well, my man got jammed and the 2 dudes
my God.
They was like this. Why is that everybody's instant when something happened to do like this?
I don't know why. What you think your hand's gonna do? You still gonna die, fool.
It wouldn't be as intense, I guess.
Oh boy, please.
It'll soften the kill.
This nigga gonna die. Good as well. Watching his hands just get chopped down with them bullets.
Yeah, because it was definitely a walk him down type situation.
Walk him down?
That was crazy.
Oh, man.
I want to know what Yo Gotti had to say. I know he was pissed. Disrespect his mama, because that's basically what it is.
Yeah, man. But we also know, man, about we us and black people, man.
Us and black people.
We black.
Who are you?
And my people. Us and black people. We black and those black people. Us and black people.
Where are you going with this?
That's going to be the title. Us and Black People.
Where are you going
I'm
with
specifically going. Like last night, for instance, right? I seen so many crackheads leaving that goddamn concert. You know how, oh my God, for the first time I watched a crackhead actually fall on the ground. You know, normally they go down.
That's a dope head. That's not a crackhead.
Crackhead, dopehead,
No, they
weed
got
head,
different stances.
druggy. But specifically the heroin addict.
They be leaning real slow and they never fall.
Oh, he fell.
Dang.
My man went down like he got hit in the head by Muhammad Ali. He was leaning. He was like that. He put his head back. Next thing you know, and he went right to sleep. Literally hit the floor and started snoring. And what made it so bad when I realized that he was a regular, I had to remind him that I was going to remind him about this day when he sobered up.
Oh, okay. You one of those.
Yeah, I am. I am a believer. I want to make sure you understand that you were an embarrassment to yourself. Moved him to the front. We moved him to the front of the restaurant. That's when he proved, that he kept jumping up. My man went down so low one time, he balanced himself like he was on a skateboard. Here's the funny part. Around 12, it was freezing outside. This is how we woke him up. Me and the officer walked him outside, and that cold air hit him in the face. He was like, "What'd I do?" Yeah, we walked him outside into the cold air, man. And he woke up angry. Like, what the hell I do? Why I can't be in there? Dude,
messing
you high.
up his high.
You are high, dude. This warm air inside this restaurant ain't helping you out.
You messing that man high up.
And then I thought it couldn't get worse. I walked back around, and there's another one. Out cold in the seat. Wake her up. I'm up. Tap her again. I'm up. I was like, "Ma'am, you not up." So I hit her with the flashlight to her face. "Oh, thank you. All right, I'm out." Same thing. She going to that cold air. What I do? The fuck, y'all both doing the same drugs? Did y'all share that shit with y'all food? Hey. It's just sprinkling it over your food? What the fuck is going on?
They pass it out.
God damn, man. Motherfucking heroin outbreak in the restaurant.
That's crazy.
All right, so, man, we got QVC, got that pay after. You pay one installment and you can pay more. Mm-hmm. All these, what is that? Klarna, pay after. What's the other one? Zip, pay after. So now Apple is allowing you to buy your Apple products and pay later.
Huh.
Don't that sound like that's a steal? Straight up steal.
You start getting all these things, and then
never pay
kick on, and they all come out at the same time. You might as well just purchase it out.
So the new feature called Apple Pay Later. It lets customers split payments for purchases into 4 installments over 6 weeks. That's the thing. Over 6 weeks. So every 2 weeks you need to pay your shit off. They're not going to give you 6 months. They're not giving you 2 months. They are giving you a month and a half? That's 6 weeks, right? Yeah, they're giving you a month and a half to pay them all their money.
Yeah, that's why I said people got to be careful with that. Because they be like, "Ooh, I got..." if they give you a limit, say your limit's like $1,500, they like, "Ooh, I'm about to get AirPods, a watch, a MacBook,
$2,000,
and then here
$3,000.
You realize each paper you coming out $200-$300.
They say within the first installment due at the time of purchase, Apple users can also apply for a loan. Ooh, so they really gonna get you. You can apply for a loan within the Wallet app, ranging from $50 to $1,000 with no interest or fees to make online or in-app purchases. The payment option is rolling out to select users in the United States, with plans to offer it all select users in the United States. So you non-line standing people that don't be all pressed to get each phone, you will not be on this. You will not get this. This is for the exclusive people. The people that get a new phone every time a new phone come out, a new Apple Watch when it comes out, a new MacBook when it come out. Us regular folks that be like, I'm going to ride this wave until this bitch die. You will not have this option.
And that is fine.
Yes, it is. You won't get me.
That's fine.
So, I know we just talked about shooting in Yo Gotti. But, man, what is going on with all these mass shootings and kids, dog? I don't get it. Why are the kids the ones who have to endure the pain from an issue that you have with the administration?
What they say?
Like I get
Mexico say
it's starting to get
lack of hugs,
lack of drugs.
Lack of drugs.
Mental health is real, and some folks need drugs to be able to stabilize their mental imbalances.
Right, but they got to go seek the help first.
They have to also have people who pay attention and care enough about them to make sure they're keeping an eye. And just today, you just don't have the time to do that. Folks have a lot of time to sit with their thoughts. I just don't know too many folks that's sitting with their thoughts thinking, okay, I need to go murder everybody in the school that turned their back on me.
Well, good
is
thing
that
you
fair?
don't know those type of people.
But
that stuff happens. So, people are being abused mentally, sexually, physically, and stuff.
Yeah.
So, when they sit with their thoughts, you think about it. When you hear about these sexual assaults and stuff that's happening, it's happening in schools.
Yeah.
That's sad to say that people that you're trusting your kids to be with for 8 hours throughout the day are touching on your children, and some people don't know how to communicate it, or their parents don't ask them how they're doing, or they don't care when they seem like their child is trying to tell them something, or they, disregard their child's feelings, or, oh, you lying type situation. And that is what causes these type of people.
You brought up a good point. You really put my mental focus in focus, because I never really thought about that, even though I probably should have, because when I was working at a group home for Catholic charities, you used to hear a lot of that, and just the scandal of the archdiocese as it relates to the physical and mental abuse that
for the simple fact of homos, but you following all these little boys.
Yeah,
that's your preference. It's a little church.
And sometimes it sucks that these type of things have to happen, but I do think it's deeper than just banning assault rifles and banning guns.
It is way deeper than that, but it starts within the household. Like I said, if your child comes to you and want to talk, let them talk. Even if they ramble and it just doesn't seem like they making sense. But if it's a constant thing that they're saying, and every time y'all talk, it's something that comes up that sits out, you need to pay attention to that. Oh, it's a high five.
And you got to be able to know your kids and pay attention to your kids and understand when things may just not be going right for them. Because I say that all the time. I tell my wife this all the time. Like, sometimes we get into it, but I be knowing my kids. I be knowing, like, if their mood ain't right, if they tired. Like, I pay attention to those things. I'm very observant. That's one of the things I pride myself for being, is very observant, man, and knowing when I need to have those conversations with my kids and just picking their brains and seeing if everything's working right in their brain. Like, I know how my daughter is, and I know the conversations she need to have. So if them conversations start changing, then we need to really address that and not ignore that. Right, babe?
Right.
Same with Carl. Same thing. You just want to make sure, like I ask him all the time, are you defending yourself? Are you handling yourself? Like, why do you wear this? Why are things changing? What's going on? Okay, like, how we need to handle this? I've even started, to a degree, walking over this so these little young niggas can know who his father is and know he ain't no, you know what I mean?
Because all they know is the crazy mother.
I need to introduce myself. Just show my face a little bit so they can know really who I am. Because I ain't small. If you see my wife, she thick. I'm strong. Like that.
But Carl is the type of child, he don't want to inconvenience anybody. So he don't say much. He be like, oh, no, but you got to watch it. because he don't want to get people in trouble, because he's not that type of kid. He don't like for nobody to get in trouble.
No.
He don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So he make sure he do what he's supposed to do to avoid it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got.
My goodness, man. So yeah, man, just make sure you having those conversations, man, and checking in with your family members.
Checking in with your kids.
Yeah.
Make sure you are checking in with your kids. And it may not even be your child when you're talking to them about what they're talking about. It may not even be about them. It may about Lord. It may be about somebody they know, and they just want to pick your brain to see, you know, what you think about it, so they can go help somebody else out. But that also goes into another topic about your kids and letting them, you know, be them and pick who they want to be and what they want to be. And who.
Because I forgot.
So,
so we ended the last podcast, right? And you know, sometimes when you're a one-man band, things happen when you just miss out on crucial information to share with the audience. And that happened last part. And the camera cut off, right? So we're doing what we got to do what we got to do. So we made it a pact, or she made it a pact, to make sure that we brought this up and we got this information to you guys. Pow! No? Okay. Let's go.
Absolutely not. So basically, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and my kids was there, and we was talking about the godparent thing, and I was like, dang, it's kind of messed up. I failed my son with his 2 godparents. My daughter has 3, and they are heavily involved in a lot of stuff. And I was like, dang, Carl, do you feel left out on anything? And he was like, not really, sometimes. And I was like, dang, baby, I'm sorry. And I was like, I'm sorry you had, you know, poor choice of godparents. So he decided that he was going to pick his own. And he decided to pick my godson's mother. He just was like, I select you.
And you know what's crazy? I wish we had made that decision in the beginning, because you got to think about long term who probably can bring the most benefit as far as like being a second parent if something was to happen to me or her. And when we made these decisions, we just made them it just was split. Like we didn't really think about the true definition of what a godparent really is.
Well,
to
my
the kids.
thought was, this was my best friend for over 14 years.
Yeah, but then I got to really thinking about how long we knew this person that Carl selected as the godparent, and I said, man, dang, I can't believe that I've known this person almost 20 years.
And it was just like, you know, this is.
I mean, and it sucks.
Best friend since middle school.
It sucks that the godparent situation that we chose at the time played out the way that it played out. And like my wife said, and I say all the time, we make time for the things that are important to us.
And just because you're somebody's godparent, it's not to say that you have to get them all the time. You have to buy them stuff. No. It's when the very important moments happen, or that child really needs you, you're available. Or if you just want to spend some time, whatever, it's an option to know that they have somebody else to reach out to outside of their paternal and maternal. So when it came down to it, I was telling my husband, I was like, so, should parents, you know, stop trying to go along with the man-made tradition of figuring out godparents before the child is born so that you can go through the christening and all that? And should we let our kids get of age and make the choice for themselves? Because children normally are on point when it comes to who they like, who they don't like the vibes and stuff. Children pick up on some stuff. So should we let them be able to pick their own godparents?
I think we do. We should. And the reason I think we should is because sometimes kids know better than us. I just was talking to my wife. It had to be like 2 months ago about how our kids act with certain people versus others. and how specifically the people who constantly show up for birthdays and events around the house and all that, and how your kids will they will let you know who you trust, who you should trust, and who you shouldn't trust as it relates to who they should be around. So it's always important to just kind of give them an opportunity to decide, okay, if these people are going to be around, because sometimes it ain't because we need the kid, we need the godparent to be a babysitter or whatnot. We, my kids, they just want to see you, and they just want to show you love. You feel me?
Alex to FaceTime you all day, every day.
All day.
Just to be like, what you doing? Okay.
Yeah, she don't want to talk about nothing, but she just
when it
want to see you.
comes to it, the godparent standpoint, some people value it different than others. Like with me, I technically would have had 1, 2, 3,
You had a couple
4.
godparents, but these was all a contention about who your mother was dating.
4. Oh, I'm saying people ask me to be their child's godparent, but things went left on.
No, if you really want to have a real conversation, when I first met you, there were a lot of women. And they were all made to believe that they were your godparents.
Well, I knew they wasn't my daggone godparent.
But they were what we call for-profit godparents.
I'm talking about...
That's the title.
I'm saying for me.
Can you get the shit out?
And my role as a godparent. Like, I take my... seriously. And when... you have a falling out with others and you are their child's godparent, I don't think you should penalize the child just because you and that person not friends anymore. That's just my standpoint.
Especially if you build the relationship with the child.
Yeah, if you had that relationship with the child, and especially
the difference with your situation
I went in church and stood in church and said, I will be there.
Yeah. But remember, there's two parents that play a role into that situation, and the other parent doesn't try to make a
it's neither here nor there.
Exactly.
I have my godson that at any time he'll call me, whatever, he want to come stay for a week, do whatever. We have that relationship, we have that bond, and that's just what it's been like since day one. But I won't treat nobody's child no differently than how I want somebody to treat and deal with my child. It's how I look at the standpoint, but it's neither here nor there. My mother's situation, that's a whole nother episode. She waited till she damn near 60 to have a mystery damn child. Now talk about that one. So, baby, we got no drink or nothing to deal with that one.
You lucky.
So,
oh boy, she lucky.
I'm lucky.
If we was under the influence, you'll really get the truth behind that. But that's not for this episode.
The truth.
The toxicity behind
what
that.
The real truth will be.
Okay, moving on. Don't you do it.
What's your next topic?
No, we still talking. Are you in this topic?
Oh, about the kids being able to pick their own godparents, and you said
yeah.
So if y'all have any comments, what's your input on it? Make sure y'all comment on it. When he make his snippets and stuff.
Because we do.
Make sure you comment.
We've been getting a lot of feedback,
and the feedback about the cameras and stuff. Good feedback. Everybody has their own what they thought about it, what it may be before, and all that. And that's good. It's good when you communicate, and interact.
I don't need to. So look, I don't even need to read this story. We've all been in a situation where we used to ride Metro and we didn't have enough to get on the train, and we did that hurdle.
I didn't do the hurdle. I used to walk through the little handicap gate.
Yes, or you used to walk to the handicap gate when the manager's little office was clear and they wasn't there. But I used to hurdle. I used to hurdle that gate.
I ain't hurdle that gate.
Or I used to wait till someone would scan their card and go through right behind them.
Oh, no.
So Metro thought they were doing something by changing the fare gates and trying to add some sort of border to it.
Partition thing.
Yeah, on the top to prevent people from jumping. there will be a crackhead or two or three that will still find their way to leapfrog that goddamn gate.
But you saw how the people sliding. They was subway surfing from. So if this is the gate, they was like, instead of going through, they was like, shh.
I mean,
all you saw was legs going.
It was like rats going in a hole.
They was getting it.
Metro really had the nerve to put a camera there and sit there and watch every single person jump that gate. In a day's time, it had to be over 200 people that jumped that gate. Easily. And no one...
I mean, if you want to make people start paying, you're going to basically have to make it into...
each gate.
But not even that. Change the gates. The gates are going to have to be like a big wall type situation.
So... I want you to hear this, you Metro riders.
From ceiling to floor.
It is costing the Metro millions at a time when it faces a potential $700 million budget shortfall next year for you folks that refuse to pay for your Metro train ride and feel like you need to jump. It says the new design to install all fare gates in Fort Totten is one Metro wants to spend $35 to $40 million installing at all 97 stations over about the next 15 months. I think they should save about 15 to 20 million in them and start hiring more Metro Transit officers, right? To man some of these hard stations that you feel that are jumping these gates. And I promise you, you may not stop them all, but you will save yourself some money because you can invest this 35 to 40 million, and 10 years down the line, you're going to still find out you're still losing money.
But like I said, they can put the partitions from ceiling to floor.
Yeah.
So that you
or
can't
like
even
New York.
jump it.
New York got gates.
You can't even jump
You
it.
can't jump. I mean, people still do it, but it's real difficult to jump them gates in New York.
If you put it from ceiling to floor, and it's like literally like a door type thing you gotta scan to get into, how you going? You know how if you open, you know the little glass that if you open one side, you can't open the other side till you close the other side?
Yeah.
That's what they're going to have to do.
So 7.
If y'all use that, y'all need to pay me for that thought.
So 7 News observed Wednesday the new taller gates at Fort Totten seem to discourage some people from trying to evade the fare, but others still found ways to get either over or through without swiping the Smart Trip card.
The short people are the ones that's not going to get through it. Because them linky joints was whee. Good luck, Metro.
Yeah, you still gonna lose money. There will still be jumpers.
Good luck.
So here's a story that will affect me because I've been seeing those checks get deposited into my account for me making Instagram and Facebook reels. Influencers will no longer be paid for Instagram and Facebook reels. You know, back at the beginning of last year, they made a conscious effort to tell all influencers and people that were creators to make sure to post reels on Facebook and Instagram. And in the beginning, they wasn't incentivizing it. All they were saying is, you will potentially have more eyes on your page if you post on reels. If you post more reels than posts. Then, a few months later, they introduced a tier for influencers who have massive followings and even influencers who have low to moderate followings. And they said they will pay you to post constant reels on Facebook and Instagram.
So now
they don't got their goddamn money and they don't did what they supposed to do. Now they saying we're done. Because there were some people say they were making $30,000 to $35,000 a month for posting reels.
Oh. Well.
Yep. It's a board of removal of compensation. Content creators could get thousands of dollars per videos depending on the views. It was Meta's way of encouraging users to create more videos to gather more users and also compete with short form video apps like TikTok. So reels for Instagram was back in the day, you would go post your TikTok videos, and then you would take that video, save it, and then repost it on Instagram. Instagram didn't like that.
Take me back to MySpace.
Yeah. So now they're saying screw that. However, Meta is halting this payment incentive for creators who post on Reels for both Facebook and Instagram. This could prove to be a huge loss for influencers, seeing as some even get offer bonuses as high as $35,000, as mentioned. See? But that's what I'm saying, man. They don't got what they needed out of it. You don't boosted their profit and loss statement, and now they're like, screw you.
And that's what eventually happened with the whole thing.
Yeah, everything get cut. So everything is short term.
Trickling down. Once they start seeing the amount that they putting out and the least that they getting back and the content slacking and all that. And that's why I don't use social media for that aspect.
To end this podcast, we're going to talk about meeting when you introduce the boyfriend to the baby daddy, and when should it happen, or should it be happening in the beginning, or do you agree that it just should happen at any point? Should there be a timeline on introducing the father of your child to your new boyfriend or fiance?
For me, I think it should be before they even meet your kids. But
yeah,
I don't know. But that's what I would do. If I'm dating somebody, you wouldn't even meet my kids until I know that where we going is what we doing. And my kid's father won't even know about you until I feel like, know about. They'd be like, yeah, I'm dating somebody. But they wouldn't know nothing really about you until I know that this is going to a level where I feel as though you should meet my children. Because the biggest thing and the issues that has been played out on social media that some people laugh at, and it's like, dang, but that shit ain't funny because people are really doing that. Like, these single moms are meeting these guys, bringing them around their kids. Then the guys are getting attached to their kids, and they doing stuff for the kid. They taking your kid out, picking your kid out from school. Then y'all beefing, and then on top of y'all beefing, now you like, I don't want nothing to do with you. And then they be them crazy ones that do the stuff that know it's gonna get to you without actually getting to you. Like, go pick your child up from daycare early, and then you go to get your child not there. And they like, oh, they was such and such, because here it is, 2 months into y'all talking, you introduce them to your kid and got them playing daddy. Like, it's stuff like that. Like, people are crazy. Stuff is real. When it comes to me and my thought of my kids, I would not play that. I don't play about my kids. I don't care who you are. I have no discrimination. I've cursed my mother out. I'd curse everybody out if it comes to my kids and you play my kids.
All right, so let me ask you this: Is it the responsibility? Because you can really go too deep, and I know how you get about your kids. But is it if it's not the responsibility of the mother, should the boyfriend take it upon himself to introduce himself to the father?
No.
Why?
Because that's not his place.
What if I ever get put in a situation with discipline, and I'm put in a situation where I'm forced to discipline your child verbally without making that introduction, and then the child goes back and tells the father, such and such said this to me aggressively, Dad.
Introduce. That's the mother's situation. If that's on the mother's side, or even if it's on the father's side, that is for that parent who introduced them to the kid before the other parent. That is for them to do.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
you shouldn't have no. If my child is doing something and you have to say, hey, don't do that, whatever, you should be able to go back to your girlfriend or boyfriend that you're dating and say, hey, I said this to Lord Jr. or whatever because he did X, Y, and Z. I just want you to know what happened. That's a conversation for the parent to have. And if the son goes back to the mother or the father and say, such as said something to me, then the parent is to go to that parent and say, hey, what happened?
So you believe that conversation though should happen in the beginning. It shouldn't be a year later that I'm now just meeting the new boyfriend.
Absolutely, and it's the way that the Tay Diggs and Omarion thing. That's crazy.
But I only think it went down that way because of how messy Omarion and her situation was. It was on the blogs or whatnot. But that's what I'm saying. They wasn't on talking basis though. That's what I'm saying.
Y'all posting videos with my kid doing all this stuff, and I meet you at my child's recital, and you've been around all this time.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't even think he should have showed up to that recital.
Why?
If he hadn't met the father.
I mean, but if that's what they allow, that's what they allow.
Yeah.
You can't. That's how
celebs are different.
People are different. You have people who are like that.
Yeah,
and that's just what their choice of preference is. You can't tell people how to raise their kids or how to deal with it, but it's suspicious.
Yeah, I also was talking to someone and that had a problem with the way the boyfriend was talking about him, and his daughter would come back and tell him that he was talking about him bad without even actually getting to know him. Sometimes that be the woman putting a battery in his back that he don't really have a clue about.
I mean, that's with either situation. If you got a bitter baby mother or a bitter baby father, they gonna make the other person seem to be the worst instead of getting to know that person. Yeah. That's why I said, if we gonna be serious and be in a relationship and I got kids, hey, you need to meet the kid's parent. You know, we need to all sit down and have a conversation. Ooh. And that should be the same way. If the mother has a new boyfriend or if the father has a new girlfriend, we need to sit down and have this conversation because you're going to be around my child. And then especially if they get married, you definitely should have already had these conversations.
Yeah, you definitely, especially before the person even proposed, that should be a conversation you should already have. But thank you for listening to episode 98 of the podcast with the wife. Yeah, I said episode 98, even though I think I had been saying episode 97. Ooh.
And we out.
Peace.